Welcome to Hockey with Talks podcast. Today, I'll be talking about early season observations in the 25-26 NHL season. In this podcast, I make some early season observations about the 25-26 NHL season. The 25-26 NHL season is off to a compelling start with breakout rookies, coaching shakeups, and surprising team trends reshaping early narratives. Defenseman Zeev Byam of the Minnesota Wild is emerging as a Calder Trophy candidate, transforming the Wild's power play. Matthew Schaefer, the first overall pick in 2025 for the New York Islanders, and Artemi Grzyk of the New Jersey Devils are also making waves, with both becoming pivotal parts of their teams. Their roles should only grow bigger as the season progresses. 9 teams entered the season with new head coaches, including Pittsburgh with Dan Muse, the New York Rangers with Mike Sullivan, the Dallas Stars with Dan Glucksinen, the Boston Bruins with Marco Sturm, the Seattle Kraken with Lane Lambert, the San Jose Sharks with Ryan Warsofsky, the Columbus Blue Jackets with Travis Green, the Ottawa Senators with Troy Mann, and the Calgary Flames with Todd Nelson. Early returns vary. Dan Muse has revitalized Sidney Crosby, who hit 1,700 career points in a win over the Blues. The Rangers are struggling under Mike Sullivan so far. The Bees have found new life under Marco Sturm, and the San Jose Sharks' young core have shown promise. Other teams are still finding their footing with coaching changes, often tied to last season's playoff misses. The hottest teams to start the 25-26 NHL season include the New Jersey Devils, Colorado Avalanche, Pittsburgh Penguins, Utah Mammoth, Detroit Red Wings, Montreal Canadiens, and Anaheim Ducks, each showing early dominance or surprising upside. After a red-hot start, the New Jersey Devils have lost 2 straight games and are in the midst of a road trip, if the Devils are for real. The Utah Mammoth, Detroit Red Wings, and Montreal Canadiens have also had hot starts with a 3-0 record and are having a surprisingly dominant start. The Colorado Avalanche, as expected, are having a good start. Dan Muse's arrival has sparked resurgence in the Pittsburgh Penguins, with Sidney Crosby hitting 1,700 career points. Young players like Benjamin Kindle and Tristan Brose are contributing early. The Anaheim Ducks are another spot early in this season. Young players such as Cutter Gauthier, Leo Carlson, and Bennett Senecki look like future stars for an upstart Anaheim Ducks team. The Detroit Red Wings are translating strong practice habits into results, showing mental toughness on a grueling road trip. Despite back-to-back cup wins, the Florida Panthers are treading water. At just a .500 record and amid injuries, the back-to-back cup champs are struggling to find rhythm amid injuries and fatigue from deep playoff runs. The Toronto Maple Leafs and Tampa Bay Lightning are off to slow starts as well, raising early questions about depth and consistency. The Calgary Flames, while not cup favorites, were expected to do a lot better than they have. Instead, they sit in dead last in the Western Conference. While not translating in wins, the young San Jose Sharks team have proved they can score with the best of them, with young players such as Macklin Celebrini, William Eklund, Will Smith, and veterans such as Tyler Toffoli leading the charge. And now a word from our sponsor. Check out my scouting blog at hockeywith777scouting.com. Listen to my scouting blog podcast on podcasters.spotify.com/pod/show/hockeywith777scouting. Here are the current standings. In first place in the Atlantic Division are the Detroit Red Wings with an 3-0 record for 16 points. They have 40 goals for versus 33 goals against. In second place in the Atlantic Division are the Montreal Canadiens with an 3-0 record for 16 points. They have 40 goals for versus 33 goals against. In third place in the Atlantic Division are the Ottawa Senators with a 6-5-1 record for 13 points. They have 45 goals for versus 47 goals against. In first place in the Metropolitan Division are the Pittsburgh Penguins with an 8-2-2 record for 18 points. They have scored 44 goals for versus 31 goals against. In second place in the Metropolitan Division are the New Jersey Devils with an 3-0 record for 16 points. They have scored 41 goals for versus 35 goals against. In third place in the Metropolitan Division are the Carolina Hurricanes with a 7-3-0 record for 14 points. They have scored 40 goals for versus 30 goals against. The Philadelphia Flyers currently hold the first wildcard spot with a 6-3-1 record for 13 points. They have scored 30 goals for versus 24 goals against. In the second wildcard spot are the Washington Capitals with a 6-4-0 record for 12 points. They have scored 27 goals for versus 22 goals against. The Columbus Blue Jackets are in 9th place with the 6-4-0 record for 12 points. They have scored 35 goals for versus 31 goals against. Next is the Tampa Bay Lightning with the 5-4-2 record for 12 points. They have scored 31 goals for versus 31 goals against. The New York Rangers also have 12 points, but have a 5-5-2 record. They have scored 28 goals for and have yielded 29 goals against. Another team with 12 points are the Boston Bruins, but they have a 6-7 record. The Bruins have scored 43 goals for and have allowed 47 goals against. There are 3 teams with 11 points: the Florida Panthers, Buffalo Sabres, and Toronto Maple Leafs. The Florida Panthers are 5-5-1, the Buffalo Sabres are 4-4-3, while the Toronto Maple Leafs are 5-5-1. Florida has scored 27 goals for versus 31 goals against. Buffalo has scored 33 goals for versus 35 goals against, and Toronto has scored 38 goals for versus 42 goals against. In last place in the Eastern Conference is the New York Islanders with a 5-4-1 record for 9 points. They have 34 goals for versus 39 goals against. In first place in the Central Division are the Utah Mammoth with a 8-3-0 record for 16 points. They have 40 goals for versus 30 goals against. In second place in the Central Division are the Colorado Avalanche with a 6-1-4 record for 16 points. They have 41 goals for versus 30 goals against. In third place in the Central Division are the Winnipeg Jets with a 7-3 record for 14 points. They have 34 goals for versus 25 goals against. In first place in the Pacific Division are the Vegas Golden Knights with the 6-1-3 record for 15 points. They have 37 goals for versus 28 goals against. In second place in the Pacific Division are the Los Angeles Kings with a 5-3-4 record for 14 points. They have 36 goals for versus 40 goals against. In third place in the Pacific Division are the Seattle Kraken with the 5-2-3 record for 13 points. They have 28 goals for versus 29 goals against. The Dallas Stars are the first wildcard spot in the Western Conference with a 6-3-2 record for 14 points. They have 30 goals for versus 32 goals against. The Edmonton Oilers are the second wildcard spot with a 5-4-3 record for 13 points. They have 38 goals for versus 39 goals against. There are 2 teams outside the playoffs in the Western Conference with 12 points: the Chicago Blackhawks and Vancouver Canucks. The Blackhawks sit at 5-4-2, while the Canucks sit at 6-6. Chicago has 33 goals for versus 26 goals against, while Vancouver has 33 goals for versus 36 goals against. The Anaheim Ducks have a 5-3-1 record for 11 points. They have 32 goals for versus 31 goals against. The Nashville Predators have a 4-6-2 record for 10 points with 28 goals for versus 41 goals against. The Minnesota Wild have a 3-6-3 record for 9 points. They have 32 goals for versus 47 goals against. There are 2 teams with 8 points, the San Jose Sharks and St. Louis Blues, who both have a 3-6-2 record. The Blues have 32 goals for versus 48 goals against, while the Sharks have 32 goals for versus 46 goals against. Last in the Western Conference are the Calgary Flames with a 2-8-2 record for 6 points. They have scored 27 goals for versus 43 goals against. Check out my hockey blog at hockeywiztalkshockey.blogspot.com. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at hockeywiz777. The leading point scorer is Jack Eichel with 19 points, followed by Mark Scheifele with 18. Tied for third are several players including Nathan MacKinnon, David Pastrnak, Nick Schmaltz, Maklus Celebrini, and Evgeny Malkin with 17. Tied for 8th are Dylan Larkin, Nick Suzuki, and Kirill Kaprizov with 16. There are several players tied for the league leading goals, including Nathan MacKinnon, Jack Hughes, Cole Caulfield, Mark Scheifele, Pavel Dorofeyev, Morgan Geekie, and Kiefer Sherwood, who all have 9 goals. Jack Eichel and Dylan Larkin, Sidney Crosby, Leon Draisaitl, Logan Cooley, and Shane Pinto all have 8 goals. David Pastrnak, Nick Schmaltz, Seth Jarvis, and Martin Necas all have 7 apiece. Tied for the league lead in assists are Nick Suzuki and Evgeny Malkin with 14 assists apiece. William Nylander and Cale Makar both have 12 assists apiece. Jack Eichel, Connor McDavid, Macklin Celebrini, and Mark Stone have 11 assists apiece. Nick Schmaltz, Matthew Knies, Mitch Marner, Adrian Kempe, and David Pastrnak all have 10 assists apiece. The players with the best plus-minus are Cale Makar, Josh Morrissey, and Alexander Nikishin, who are all plus 11. Ian Cole, Devon Taves, Zach Werenski, Kyle Connor, Mitch Marner, and Nick Suzuki are all a plus 9, and there are 11 players tied with a plus 8 rating. Jack Eichel leads the league in points per game with a 1.90, followed by William Nylander with a 1.67. Nathan MacKinnon, Macklin Celebrini, and Nick Schmaltz all have 1.55. Mark Scheifele has a 1.64, and Dylan Larkin and Nick Suzuki both have a 1.45 points per game average. Jack Eichel leads the lead. Jack Eichel leads the league in power play points with 9. David Pastrnak, Kirill Kaprizov, Mark Stone, and Mikko Rantanen all have 8. Leon Draisaitl, Elias Lindholm, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Cale Makar, Dylan Cousins, and Nick Suzuki all have 7. Connor McDavid, Evgeny Malkin, Pavel Dorofeyev, Macklin Celebrini, Matt Boldy, and Jake Sanderson all have 6. And 17 players are tied with 5 power play points. Connor Hellebuyck, Jacob Dobes, Scott Wedgwood, and Carl Veshmelka all have 6 wins apiece. Logan Thompson, Jake Allen, Jake Ottinger, Joey Daccord, Sergei Bobrovsky, Tristan Jarry, Linus Ullmark, Jet Greaves, and Akira Schmid all have 5 wins apiece. Logan Thompson has the best GAA in the league, with at least 6 starts, with a 1.44 GAA. Next is Dan Vladar with a 1.67 GAA, then Jacob Dobes with a 1.97. Next is Thatcher Demko with a 2.18, then Sergei Bobrovsky with a 2.28, then Igor Shesterkin with a 2.32. Logan Thompson has the best save percentage among goalies with at least 6 starts, with a .939 save percentage. Dan Vladar also has a .939. Jacob Dobes has a .930. Thatcher Demko has a .926. Tristan Jarry has a .923. And Connor Hellebuyck has a .921. Listen to Hockey Whiz Talks podcast on Podbean and Spotify. Check out my travel channel at youtube.com/HockeyWhizTravels. The early season always gives fans and experts alike surprises, and it's going to be interesting to see how everything unfolds as the season progresses. In my next podcast, I'll be talking about disappointing teams early this season.